Hello, Ultimate 2021. This is the Commish. We're here for week 3 and the predictions and the results and the chaos. As we look at the week 2 recap, you'll see Commish was very wrong about the room and the Padawans. Chariots and Doomsday was a very close game. Doomsday just couldn't quite pull it out. Running on empty, runaway game almost doubled or over doubled the score of DTEK did it. Giants will continue. Did not really stand a chance against the pipe hitters too. Von Stars, very close game. It turned out to be the game of the week, but Sharknado uh, was able to pull that one out with the help of Tom Brady, I believe, as kind of pondered. Putin on the Ritz in the toilet bowl against the Killer Penguins squeaked it out. Penguins, why did you bench Diggs? You deserve the loss. Let's go ahead and jump into our league overview. And we'll take a quick glance at the standings. Two teams remain undefeated. That's the Padawans and Sharknado. Both teams have put on quite a show, but don't count out someone like Running on Empty or the Von Stars, as they both have very good point totals despite being 1-1. Overall, the Padawans are the clear-cut #1 team in the league to this point, with the most points scored and just clearly dominating the competition. Have not exactly had a very difficult schedule, though. Their opponents have not combined for very many points. So that's where things are. After this week, we will see if Sharknado and Padawans remain on top of the divisions, undefeated as top seeds in the league. And we'll see if any of these 1-1 teams jump out at you. Just look at the East Division, for instance. A lot of opportunity to climb the ranks there this week with a victory. Killer Penguins, Giants will continue, both in pretty bad shape, but really the two worst teams so far are Putin on the Ritz and Killer Penguins. All that being said, as far as standings and recaps, the Commish overall being now 6-6 on the picks. Just even, not a great showing, not a terrible showing, but let's see if we can do better this week. We'll start with the room at Putin on the Ritz. Two teams with similar strengths and weaknesses. The biggest difference, though, might be in wide receiver quality. Ridley and Brown haven't shown up yet, so there's a chance Claypool and Allen will outperform. Running back, kind of a toss-up as to which ones you want to trust more. Two of the top kickers, two defenses playing very bad offenses with opportunity for points. This should be a pretty close game. I don't know that these point totals are going to play out. Both teams have been underperforming week after week. We're going to go with the room, though, largely because of a little bit more quality in the overall roster. The benches, both teams got some depth here for when the season continues on and more injuries and bye weeks start to pop up. All in all, though, I think the room has a little bit better roster, and I like the Mahomes matchup against the Chargers more so than Allen against the football team. Let's throw it to the room in what should be a classic rivalry. These are the two teams that have played the most of any teams in our fantasy league's history. It's the Commish versus not the Commish, and the Master Control versus the person who is totally frustrated and furious that the Commish always seems to have them, even though Putin does win the fair share of games. Let's go with the Commish over the Cope in this one. Next matchup, we've got Chariots against Running on Empty. They got to keep the S on the second Chariot in their name. after a surprising victory. Running on empty, though, is looking stronger and stronger every week and should be very tough to stop. What are we looking at with these rosters? We're looking at Aaron Rodgers, who may have recovered from the whatever happened in week one. Herbert, though, I really like, and the matchup against Kansas City should be a lot of points for the taking. Rodgers might have a little bit more of a tough time with a much tougher defense. Hopkins against Jacksonville, so long as he's healthy and in, and they're not running the ball a lot because they're up early, should be in great shape. Beasley, probably a safe target for a lot of catches, but Beasley is no Cooper Kupp. Hopkins should do an outperformance here. Kupp, though, had a great game last week. Should be heavily relied upon this week. It's going to be a question of whether Arians tries to shut down the target here for Stafford. Running backs, Jones and Elliott, probably a better matchup than Harris or Hunt, though Harris or Hunt might overperform thanks to easier matchups. Tight ends, toss-up to me, but let's say Hawkinson may be a more primary target. These guys, the battle of who's going to catch the passes from Darnold, that's might be interesting to see. I don't know that I'd put my flex player as a Thursday game player. I don't know that they're going to change this, but that inherently reduces flexibility when you do that. I always recommend having your latest start time player as possible in this position in the event there's injuries or unforeseen circumstances. Dangerous scenario here for both teams, but they may end up washing each other out. Downvote the Chiefs defense. I don't believe in them at all. Pittsburgh has been playing surprisingly well, like the Steelers of old. Will Watt be in, or will he be in and out with injury? That's a question mark for them. The benches, Jacobs would be great if he was healthy. Beckham would be great if he was healthy. They both may be limited and uneventful. Not a lot to write home on either of these benches, other than running on empty has a better one. Let's go ahead and throw the game to running on empty, largely because I believe in the overall roster here, and I believe Herbert's going to have just a monster game, whereas Rodgers may be held a little bit more in check. Give it to the running on empty, no longer running on empty in this one. I got bounced out. Make sure that pick got... no, it didn't. Okay, running on empty. You're being picked to win. Moving on, Ditka did it. Operation Doomsday. Both of these teams are trying to rebound after some tough matchups. Both of them are very capable teams. Lamar Jackson has a great matchup and should be able to run wild against a terrible Lions team. Hill was very quiet last week. Maybe he rises to the occasion this week against the Chargers in a rivalry game. Julio Jones looks like maybe he's on a little bit of an ascension and taking away some of the catches from Brown. Jefferson and Smith, I don't think they are as quality as Hill and Jones this week, let alone Lamar Jackson should be up for another monster game so long as the flu or stomach bug he's dealing with isn't too much of an issue. Chubb should be able to run well. Barkley, if he gets like 84% of the carries again this week, should be a very good play for Ditka. But Kamara and Gibson are nothing to ignore. I don't know that Gibson's going to have as much upside, but we'll see. That's going to be an interesting game between the football team and the Bills. Thomas and Waller, pretty good tight ends. I like Waller more any week over most everybody but Kelsey. Swift and Moore, interesting guys here. I don't know that either of them are trustworthy. Moore might be the better play, though, just knowing the Lions are going to be playing a tough run defense. Blankenship and Carlson, kind of a toss-up. Raiders and 49ers. I would definitely say the Raiders defense could be in for a great game. That might be something that helps keep DTEK in the match. Um, Williams might be a guy you want to sub in at running back. Um, yeah, these are just two very solid teams that are ranked lower, mostly because they've had a couple of disappointing weeks. At this point in time, the way the rosters are situated, I'm going to throw all my chips behind Operation Doomsday to win. I just think Lamar Jackson's going to be big. I think Tyreek Hill's not going to be quiet. Kamara is going to be a focal point. Maybe Belichick tries to figure out a way to slow him down, but he's going to have to be relied upon. Chubb might split some more time as the Browns hopefully get ahead very early on Chicago. You might have a lot of Kareem Hunt for that reason. Barkley, don't trust him yet, so let's give it to Doomsday, and this might be the Doomsday for DTEK, other than trading an entire draft away for Ricky Williams. Moving along, Giants will continue, and the Von Stars. This is one of the 0-2 teams that really needs a victory to get out of an early hole. The Von Stars, very strong team, had a little bit of unluckiness in their last matchup, but this week should be a good matchup between these two teams. I don't like Cousins very much. I would much rather have Wilson in this matchup head-to-head. Cooper and Adams. Adams is probably going to be more of a focal point, and Cooper maybe gets some stuff given away to other people. Lockett, definitely like him over Higgins. I think Lockett's going to light it up. Again, a Wilson to Lockett combo is very positive for the Von Stars, especially this week. McCaffrey has actually shown productive somewhat. Houston defense, I'm not sure they're going to be able to hold back McCaffrey. This might be a very good week for McCaffrey. Mixon, I think, might get slowed down by the Steelers. Drake is only valuable if Jacobs is out. Taylor is going to be a workhorse against the Titans. The Titans are nothing really to write home about, I don't think. Taylor may be a very good play. Kittle should be a focal point for the 49ers. Fant, I don't know that he's going to have to do much against the Jets, as the Jets defeat themselves and the running game probably takes over for Denver. Samuel, I like. Johnson, don't know if he's going to be healthy all the way through, and there's a lot of options for the Steelers to throw around to. McManus and Koo. McManus is probably a much better play. And defenses, Buffalo against the football team and Denver against the Jets. I mean, this Denver defense might score 30 points on their own this week. Big upside for the Von Stars being a homer. COVID-19 warnings here, guys that may or may not be in the mix. I'm not really liking the bench here for Giants will continue. The bench for the Von Stars looks a lot more versatile, and there's some guys that might be worth subbing in at some point here. Maybe not this week, though. This looks like a very easy pick to me. I don't think Giants will continue is going to approach 93 points. This is a way overprojected by Yahoo. Von Stars might get the 100 with the way these matchups are. If McCaffrey gets off to a great start, you know the Von Stars are winning for sure. Let's throw it to the Von Stars. Moving on. Holy Sharknado and Pipe Hitters 2, the son and mom matchup. This might be a sneaky matchup. Brady is going against the Rams. This is a harder defense. He may not throw another 4 or 5 touchdowns in this game. Metcalf has kind of not been the man as much as Lockett has been the man. Evans, if he gets shut down with Brady, that could be bad news for the Sharknado. Not saying that Stafford is going to do much better against Tampa's defense, but this is really the matchup of the week. The game everyone's going to want to watch Sunday afternoon is Tampa and the Rams to see who is the best in the NFC. McLaurin has been surprising and is an underdog story worth looking at here. Cook and Henry. Henry really picked up steam. I don't know if Cook's injury status is going to play a role or not, but both of these running backs should be in for good games. Cook, though, might be the better play if he's completely healthy because the Colts do have a decent enough defense. Freeman, get somebody else, please, Sharknado. Harris, if he's healthy, might be a factor, but I just don't trust New England running backs. Gronk, if Gronk is the touchdown focus again for Brady, that's going to hurt Sharknado a lot in this matchup. Landry is out. Need to get him out of your lineup. Pipe hitters too. Otherwise, you're going to be in bad shape there. Thielen, great play. Should have a good time against there. Greg the Leg, the mystery doesn't exist anymore. Sanders, I don't know that Miami's offense is going to muster enough to get him in position. The football team has played pretty good defense, but will Josh Allen rip them up? Don't know. Belichick will probably get some turnovers of Jameis Winston. Looks like a good play there. The benches, there's just nothing on this bench at all for the Sharknado. Please make some roster moves. Why is Fitzgerald on the roster? He's not coming back. IRs, either put him in the IR spot and pick someone up or dump him, get somebody else. The bench for pipe hitters too, much stronger by comparison. I don't know that they need to swap anybody in. Yahoo likes the Sharknado. I'm going to say the Rams rough up Tom Brady, and their offense does enough along with some surprising performances and offsets. I'm going to pick the Rams to beat Tampa. Tampa's on the road. Going to be tough for Tommy. Tampa Bay. Let's watch Brady get beat up in a revenge game here for Sean McVay, and let's go with the pipe hitters too. Final matchup: Killer Penguins, Padawans. This is your stone cold lead pipe lock of the week, as the old ESPN lingo used to be. No way the Killer Penguins are approaching 90 points, let alone 70 points. Padawans have Murray against Urban Meyer, who just needs to spend time with his family at this point. He would do the city of Jacksonville a lot better by doing so. Godwin might be a sneaky target as Brady is looking for other options. Jones should be an interesting target. Henderson's kind of done all right. Edwards-Helaire, don't like this running back at all. Kelsey is here. Kelsey always seems to rip up the Chargers. Pitts has not shown much yet. Thank you. Diggs is in the lineup this week for the Penguins, but it's a day late and $1 short. Andrews will probably be a big target for Lamar Jackson and may score some good points. Diggs, though, thank you for putting him in there. May want to consider subbing out Sutton, though, because the Jets are awful. Prater should have lots of chance for points. Gay may have a lot more chances, though, because of stalled drives. Tennessee's defense may rack up a ton of points against a very bad backup quarterback. Carolina, it's going to be curious to see what they do. Are they going to perform the way they did against Tyrod Taylor, or will he rip them up? Don't know yet. Will Darnold help that defense by not turning over the ball? Don't know yet. But bench, already got 2 IR spots filled out here for the Killer Penguins. Their bench, they've got some guys, but I'm not seeing a lot of, players for teams of significance. We'll say that. These are a lot of secondary players on teams with injured quarterbacks or weird situations. Rookies, otherwise. Don't like the bench for the Killer Penguins. Pollard's been doing some good stuff in Dallas. Don't count him out as a sneaky bye-week substitution. And Tampa's defense, probably a good idea to have them on the bench. But who knows? They may actually be a better play if that game against the Rams is low scoring. But all in all, like I said, Killer Penguins, no chance. Padawan's best team in the league. This is a blowout. Put the money on the Padawans. You will not be disappointed. Let's do one quick thing here for recap. Make sure all the picks are in. We've pretty much gone almost all favorites based on the Yahoo projections. The exception being Pipe Hitters 2. At the end of the day, we're going to see Padawans 3-0, I believe, and the best team in the league, hands down. Hope you all have a great week. Should be another exciting round of football with crazy things happening that no one ever saw coming. And don't forget your college games, too. If you like watching college football, lots of fascinating games every week there, stunning upsets, and strange storylines. So with that, best of luck in week 3. See you in week 4.